I like the Oklahoma State matchup because I think it's a game they can certainly win, but it's also a really good football team that's a like Michigan State. I don't know if Michigan State would have given them a really good test because I think the matchup for Michigan State is really bad. Notre Dame can stop the run, and they can't defend, and Michigan State can't defend the pass.
Can't defend the pass.
They would, I mean, they would shred Michigan State, and they wouldn't be able to score on Michigan State because Michigan's not a great run defense against balanced teams. They can shut down Iowa because that's all Iowa can do.
That's all Iowa can do.
But teams that have some balance have given Michigan some problems. Now, Michigan's got a great pass rush, but they're not a great run defense.
Right.
And so I think when you look at the Michigan State was balanced. They could do some things on Michigan. They wouldn't be able to do that against Notre Dame because I think Notre Dame would be able to shut down their run game and then put the game on Peyton Thorne's shoulders. I just don't think that would have been the kind of test you want. Oklahoma State is a very good defense. They're very good in the trenches, so you're going to find out where your line is now, right? They've got a really good defense, so you're going to have to, if what we think Tommy is now that Kelly's gone, we're going to get a good first test of that because this is a really good defense. And that would be the thing to me, Malik, is if you go shred Michigan State, do you really know if your offense is where it needs to be? If you can move the ball and score on Oklahoma State, you know that you got something because that's a really good defense. But they also don't have an offense that you have to worry about outscoring you. So I like the matchup because it's a good test. You're going to have to play well to beat them, but it's also a matchup that I think that's going to teach us something about this Notre Dame football team.
Yeah, this is 100%. I think this is a game for Tommy to show what he can really put out there. I don't think we've played a Big 12 team like this to where they're going to present a different front for us. They're going to do a lot of flying around. I think that for us, this will be also a game for Kyron to establish Kyron early and often. I think after a while, through 4 quarters, I don't think they'll be able to handle our run. Mm-hmm. I think the beautiful thing about Kyron through the whole season, and since he's been at Notre Dame, is that he gets better as the game goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Like he becomes an X factor when it matters late in games, and that's something that Oklahoma State I don't think hasn't seen from a player like Kyron, and they don't have one themselves like Kyron to do that either. For us, it's all about offense because I do think the defense and Marcus Freeman is going to just have the energy and the juice just right to where it's going to have Oklahoma State at bay for us to offensively to score a lot of points or to get points and play from a lead. If we can play from a lead early on in the first half, I think that's going to be the key for us to really get the victory early because I think that defense, especially if 14 plays, can guide the ship in the dock. Guide the ship into the dock really well. And last but not least, for a guy like Jack, I think this is a prime example of why we got a guy like Jack Cohen for moments like these. I think it's good to work Tyler in a little bit, but this is a game specifically for Jack to finish the right way. Mm-hmm. Tommy and him have a great relationship, especially I like how they finished on a strong note these last 2 games, putting up 40-plus points. Mm-hmm. A good way to give Jack confidence going into this last game. Like, hey, we can run it up, too, against this team, just like you do against regular Big 12 teams. So it's a good matchup for us specifically against Michigan State. I think it would just be same old, business as usual. We're going to run play action heavy, and then we're going to play some solid defense against a not good merge type of quarterback. So I think this is the right challenge. I think it's the game I would prefer under Georgia, over Michigan State, mm-hmm. in the Cincinnati. Even Cincinnati, I think it would be a more decisive win than people would think. Yeah. Just because it's hard to beat a team like us twice in the same season, and we owe them one. I think Marcus being the head coach would make a total difference, especially against Luke Fickell. And I know he probably feels the way that they even were talking about Luke Fickell being in ranks with the job, considering I doubt he want to have that situation again. But this is the perfect setup for Marcus Freeman to get a win because next year I think is a much different challenge.